So who was the first rabbi? We learn in the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, it starts like this. Moshe kibel Torah miSinai. Moses got the Torah from Sinai. We know this, it's a very famous Mishnah. Masra leYoshua, he passed it on to Yoshua. Yoshua liZkenim, to the elders, Zkenim leNevi'im, to the prophets, Nevi'im masru leAnshei Knesset HaGdolah. The prophets carried it on, passed it on to the people of the Great Assembly. Shimon HaTzadik haya misharei Knesset HaGdolah, the last member of the Knesset HaGdolah, which was at the start of the, or somewhere in the Second Temple period, his name was Shimon HaTzadik. That's how we refer to him. Very interesting question of who he was exactly. We can talk about that another time. But he's still not called rabbi. We never refer to him as Rabbi Shimon HaTzadik. He's just Shimon HaTzadik. And then Antigonus ish socho kibel mishimon. So then there was his student was Antigonus. He received the tradition from him. Yossi ben Yoezer, Ish Tzeda, Yossi ben Yochanan kiblu mihem, Hillel v'Shammai. None of these people are called rabbi. Right? We don't refer to Hillel and Shammai as Rabbi Hillel and Shammai. They're just Hillel and Shammai. And then that continues until we get to Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. Kibel mi Hillel u'mishammai. So the first person who seems to have some kind of rabbinic title is Yochanan ben Zakkai. I wrote a little note here that somebody who likes Jewish history might say, well, what about Rabban Gamliel? Because historically, Rabban Gamliel came before Rabban Yochanan, but that's probably, when we refer to Gamliel the first as Rabban, that's actually a mistake. It's a confusion with the future Rabban Gamliel. So just like a little historical tidbit, that the first person officially called Rabban is Yochanan ben Zakkai. And his students, as we read in the same Mishnah later on, are the first to be called rabbi. So Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, these famous names, Rabbi Yossi HaKohen, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. So these are the first people that are officially called rabbi. Okay. And Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai is famous. There's a story of how he saved the Sanhedrin when the temple was destroyed. You guys remember this story? Yeah? No? Remember this story? Anybody? Any idea what the story was? So Jerusalem was under siege. This is around the year 70, right, when the Second Temple is being destroyed. And Vespasian is the Roman general who's about to destroy the temple. And Rabban Yochanan is stuck inside the old city. He can't get out in Jerusalem. Well, that was the city back then. So he's stuck in Jerusalem and he can't get out. He manages to escape by pretending to be dead. So they take him out in a coffin, and he goes out to meet Vespasian, and he essentially greets him as the emperor. He says, "Hail, emperor." And Vespasian says, "You just committed treason because I'm not the emperor." And right at that moment, a messenger comes and tells Vespasian, "You've just been elected the new emperor of Rome." So Vespasian's amazed and says, "Whoa, how did you know that? Whatever, so cool, you know." And this is historical fact, by the way, that this is what happened in Rome at the time, that Vespasian was selected the new emperor. During this time, Rome was actually also had just come off a civil war, year of the 4 emperors. So he gets selected as the new emperor, and he ends up leaving to go to Rome, and he puts his son, Titus, in charge to get the job done. But he was impressed with Rabban Yochanan, so he asked him, "Okay, what can I do for you?" And Rabban Yochanan said, "I know you're going to destroy the temple in Jerusalem. I know I can't ask you to not do that. I mean, your whole purpose of coming here is doing that, so it would be crazy to tell you to stop, but at least save the Sanhedrin and the rabbis." Because he knew that that's the only way that Judaism will survive. You know, the teachers of Judaism need to survive. So at least spare them. And he did.